And we're back. MMA Lock Talk episode 21, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 22. Appreciate everybody that's been sticking around since the jump. Hoping that I don't have any further mic issues, as was the case over with the last episode that I did last week. So, if anybody does notice some sound issues, please let your boy know so that I can nip it in the butt. By the way, the term "nip it in the bud" is actually "nip it in the bud" and not in the butt. How for some reason I always thought it was "nip it in the butt," but a couple months ago, I remember seeing somebody talked about it, and and they said it's actually comes from the saying "nip it in the bud" in terms of like flowers or something, where you get in the bud before it gets to the rest of the flower. So yeah, something I learned a couple months ago. But yes, please let me know if there is any mic issues throughout the stream. I'll try to keep up with the live chat as much as possible. As you guys know, I'll be around for the hour or so. I'll be hopping off around 5:10 or something, but wanted to just hang out with you guys and kick it as usual. Black M3 saying too much butt talk. All right, the first thing I wanted to get to before we even get into the live chat here or anything about that is in regards to the Dog of the Night challenge. So I am more than likely going to be making the current edition of the Dog of the Night challenge, which is wrapping up, I believe, with this upcoming event. This will be the last edition of it. The Lock of the Night challenge, which um, will continue going until the end of the year. I'm hoping to keep that one alive. The main issue here being I'm getting really screwed over by my whole PayPal situation in this spot. Um, there are a couple guys that I still need to pay out for the past Dog of the Night challenge, and I am unable to due to the restrictions that are laid out in my PayPal account right now. Over the past 3 years, maybe 4 years since I've been doing the whole Lock of the Night challenge thing, I've had hundreds and hundreds of people, send in entry fees, and I'd say maybe in the 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s of people in terms of money that I've sent out in terms of winnings. And that entire time, there's been a grand total of 4 guys I have not been able to pay out, and that's coming from the most recent ones. And that's with PayPal really screwing me over now. Um, I have shown a trusted person within the space my PayPal balance, just so they know that the money is there and that I'm not running anywhere or trying to pull off some sort of like sleazy scam or anything like that. That is not the intention whatsoever. I have pushed the guys that are waiting for their payouts a little bit too far, and I understand that. And it sucks that it got to that point, but I am looking at I've pretty much exhausted the majority of my options now in terms of getting these guys paid out. I have you know gone to a last resort in terms of hoping that somebody can be the middleman, and I trust this person as they trust me to be able to do this in a timely manner. So I'm hoping to get that fixed out. But the reason I want to discontinue the Dog of the Night challenge is to shorten the amount or lessen the amount of money that I have coming in and out compared to the money that I already have coming in and out from the places that I get paid out from, right? The Patreon, the Tape Index, my Google ad revenue goes straight to my bank account, so that's not an issue. The countless outlets that I work for as well, all of that money usually comes in to the PayPal account, and I've had my account frozen a couple times due to these numerous amounts of uh, transactions going in and out of my account. Um, so I need to get that sorted out, and I'm hoping with the less amount that is coming in now because of the Dog of the Night challenge, that will help alleviate the situation, especially in preparation for the payouts that are going to be coming at the end of the year. If I get that figured out, and if PayPal finally opens up my limits and all that stuff, um, then I'll look to continue the lock of the night challenge, just the lock of the night challenge, not the dog of the night challenge, because that will automatically be a little bit too much there. So, yeah, I just wanted to state that out there. There are some unhappy people, and rightfully so, but I want to make sure that I nip this in the bud before it becomes a bigger issue than it is. I mean, I am not that guy that's gonna block my account or go private or block people or something like that and run away. I have worked far too hard over the last 5 years to build what I have to make that be the reason that this all comes crashing down. I mean, I don't want my integrity to be questioned because of that either. And I really didn't expect the Lock of the Night and Dog Night challenge to get as big as they have over the last year or so, to the point that PayPal is starting to crack down on it. And I do want to give a shout out to one of my guys that kind of warned me about it at the beginning. I'd say the quarter point of this year. Um, you know, uh, that PayPal was starting to crack down on this stuff, and I was like, I'm sure there are people that are way too, putting way too much money into this, and those people are probably the ones getting, limited, and those ones getting restricted. And I didn't think, the thousands or tens of thousands that go in and out of my account on a monthly basis um, would kind of show up on the radar, but it seems like it did. And this dates all the way back to April. So back, I've been having back and forths with PayPal's, having instances where I'm able to send out, over $1,000, having instances where I'm limited to even $250. And all of this with me trying to take money out to fund my own bank account as well. Staying on top of my bills and all this other shit that I got to stay on top of as well. Being able to transfer money out is even becoming an issue at this point, which really, really sucks. So I prefer to address it before anything starts to get spread around or people start to talk and try to make this a bigger deal than it is. I am not going anywhere. I'm not running away with anybody's money. Money will be paid out to these people as soon as possible. I have looked to a middleman at this point in time to try to rectify it ASAP, while even getting back that person's money uh, over the next couple weeks or so as well. So, as you guys can tell, it's taken a little bit of a toll on me over the last 24 hours or so, but um, I just don't want that to be the reason to have this blow up essentially. So appreciate the people that have been standing up for me to this point, because as I've said at the top of this, there are tens of, maybe even 50 people that I've paid out on time right away before all this shenanigans went down. So it's not like this lock of the night, dog of the night challenge thing has been a scheme over the last 5 years to suck people drive their money in a different way. I got so many different revenue streams. I don't need that type of scheme to make money. I mean, that is not the point at all in this. So need to let that out, let you guys know what's going on. But I'm trying to rectify the situation ASAP. But with this being said, the Dog of the Night Challenge, the one that ends with this coming weekend's card, will be the last of its kind. Lock of the Night Challenge, TBD, but that one's not restarting until the end of the year anyway. So no Dog of the Night Challenge after this weekend. Appreciate everybody that's been taking part of it, since its inception, but it's becoming far too much of a headache to continue doing at this point in time, especially to the point where it might end up tarnishing my name or my legacy or something like that. So I want to get it out there. I want to address it right off the bat. Um, yeah, hopefully this thing works itself out sooner than later, so I don't have to fucking stress out and lose sleep over this shit, essentially. And I do want to sincerely apologize to the guys that are involved that are waiting for it as well. All right. Not only that, but obviously, as my guy Don't Have Podcast and Sands Boulevard are talking about here, RIP Elias Theodorou. That was another thing that kind of caught me out of left field yesterday. Hearing about the news, I had somebody DM me about it, um, and I didn't think it was true. And then I saw, Cody tweeted about it, and then it just started blowing up after that. I think Aaron Bronstetter reached out to his manager or former manager and tried to confirm it as well. But yes, it is true. Elias Theodorou unfortunately passed away yesterday due to cancer that he was battling privately. Not many people knew about it. Not many people even spoke about it, which is why this is even more devastating because, it just came out of left field. It truly came out of left field and nobody expected it to go down the way that it did. Um, so my heart hurts for many reasons today, but a lot of it due to um, Elias and losing that guy. Um, he used to train, a part of the training camp that I used to do was at a gym that I used to work at, Grants MMA, which is now known as um, and now it's sorry, I'm just so flustered by everything. But yeah, used to now it was called Grants. I used to work on it when it used to be called Grants, but I believe right now it's called Rival Boxing, uh, and Mixed Martial Arts Toronto or something like that. Don't Tap Podcast knows RG as well. Interesting. Are you a fellow Toronto guy? I didn't know. For some reason, I thought you guys were out there in Ireland. Yeah, so you guys have like Irish names or something. But yeah, RG is my boy. I mean, RG is a guy that I very much look up to, and he was one of Elias's coaches during Elias's run. And Elias did a lot of good things for the gym, man. Coming and training with the guys, obviously, and he even don't tap podcast and good friends with Stout. Yeah, shout out to the Black Hawk as well. I've helped out Stout a bunch as well in terms of medicals and all that stuff. He was one of the guys that I was helping look after when I was working at Grants as well. Um, but yeah, no, Elias did a lot for the gym. One of the things that he did was we did this sort of initiative giving back to the community by just Elias providing a training camp a day where he like put people through a training camp just for fun, just to raise awareness and try to do something good for the community. Not many people showed up, because it wasn't really when he was the most famous or anything like that. But he took time out of his day to do stuff for the gym and do stuff for the community. And obviously, as you guys know, he did a lot for the cannabis control and all that stuff. But man, um, yeah, crazy when things like this happen. And similar to the Chadwick Boseman thing that happened, I think it's been at least a year or so since he passed away. But he battled cancer by himself. He didn't publicize it. He didn't want to show any weakness. He didn't want people to feel sorry for him. And I think that's kind of what Elias was going through as well. From what I heard, it happened pretty much quickly. Like it happened, it all happened so fast that maybe if it was a longer battle, he probably would have shared something. But from what I heard, he only told a select few people and didn't want it to get out either. So very unfortunate what he had to go through. Especially in the dark, like the way that it happened. So RIP to Elias Theodorou. The picture that I posted on Twitter of me with him and Chris Weidman, um, that was from 9 years ago, almost 9 years to the date, actually. That was during the fight week of UFC 265, or sorry, 165, which was John Jones against Alexander Gustafsson in Toronto. The first fight, which would turn out to be an absolute war. But we had a media hospitality event at Fight Network, which is based out of here in Toronto. And I was working with the owner of the gym, who actually had an office inside the Fight Network, and he invited me to come in and party it up as well. Um, it was a fun time, open bar, a lot of celebrities there. I remember Phil Davis being there, Sean Shelby. I have a picture with Sean Shelby as well. Joe Silva, Gareth Davies, Ariel Hawani, um, Elias, Chris Weidman. There are a lot of names that were in town because of the UFC, but then ended up coming to this Fight Network party just to enjoy themselves and have fun. So fun time. I got completely shit faced that night. I remember, but one of the pictures I was able to snag was Elias parading around with the regional belts that he had. Um, you know, funny. He knew the matchmakers were going to be there, so he started parading around with his belts just to kind of be noticed and be that guy, right? Like he is full of life and he really wanted to be noticed by a lot of guys. um So yeah, him bringing that belt was hilarious. And then I think shortly thereafter, he ended up getting signed to the Ultimate Fighter Nations, where it was Team Canada versus Team Australia. And then we obviously know he went on to win that entire thing. Uh, Decent career. Obviously, ended up getting cut at the near end of it. Um, but yeah, very shitty situation there. So RIP to Elias. Provided plenty of fun memories. Did a lot for the MMA industry that people may not even know about. But it's good when you have people talking about you in this way. Like even as my guy Jared Curry says here, every story I've heard about Elias over the past few hours has been nothing but positive and filled with how great of a guy he was. Heart goes out to everyone. Exactly. So it is. I haven't seen one bad story about the guy. Yeah, I mean, since this whole thing happened, and obviously nobody's really going to be that guy to come out and talk shit about him, especially after the guy just passed away. But the amount of stories and the people that they're coming from should further let you guys know um, what he went through. All right, now that we got the tough stuff out of the way, let's get into some of these comments here. I don't want to touch too much further on, the things that were already spoken about. So let's try to get this back to a little bit more of a cheery podcast, a little bit more of a let's talk about what's coming up. And one of the things that is coming up is the contender series, which honestly I have not been able to look into as of yet. That is what my intention is. After I hop off this podcast, I'm going to finish updating the Dog of the Night challenge for the $100 pool. And after I do that, I'm going to get into the tape studying for the contender series. And then hopefully I can find another contender series angle that I can take advantage of and, continue this crazy contender series run that I'm on as well. Tristan Charles in the chat, appreciate you stopping by, asking, what do you think about Chimaev's coach coming out and saying Chimaev quit on the scale? Apparently it was him and his coaches that said that that he stopped cutting weight himself. It wasn't the physicians. It wasn't the doctors, as Dana was saying, right? What just makes you wonder, like, I'm not saying there's some conspiracy theory here or anything like that, but I think that Dana was trying to protect the image of um Chimaev by continuing to make him this like crazy undefeated guy, and he wants to hold on to him because he knows that he might be his potential cash cow in the future. So I think he just made up some of this stuff in terms of the doctors told him to stop, um, to try to bail him out of a bad situation. So I do think that it was Chimaev and his team that told him to stop cutting weight, but I think it was Dana trying to smooth it over so that his reputation doesn't take as much of a damage, and that Dana can still remain in the good graces with him to keep pumping him up. Black 10-3 is saying, shout out to your Aldana. KO prop. It was a sweat. It was definitely a sweat. Shout out to Macy Casson for making that a lot more competitive than I thought she'd be able to. I was impressed with Aldana's ability to scramble and get out of bad positions. Getting out of that back control position that she found herself in round two was difficult, but I felt as though that the position that she was in that third round, she would eventually scrambled her way back to her feet and made it a little bit more live. But, again, I don't want to call it luck or anything like that, but she was able to get that finish uh, very surprisingly. True shot saying is I was virtually tearing up my ticket when I hit the mat. Yeah, surprised that it got to that point. Mr. Always Prophet saying, luck or not, she deserved to win. People forget it looked like a clear tap in round one. Yes, that did look like a tap. True Shot saying, agreed, and the weight thing pisses me off. Yeah, I'm surprised how Aldana was okay with letting it be a 140-pound weight class rather than just letting Kiasal miss weight and just take her money. You know what I mean? That's how it should have been. I guess Aldana is too good. True Shot saying, force Aldana to take the fight because she likely needed the money. Again, I think Aldana should have just sit back and let her miss weight and taken her percentage. Isaiah saying, Lee Rob, I do routes, not complaining. Can you guys tell that I didn't really sleep much? Yeah, no, Lee bad bounces sometimes go your way, sometimes they don't go your way. Last night or yesterday, sorry, Saturday didn't go my way. I mean, eventually, I am going to be on that other side of the split decision. I'm going to be happy. Like, I guess we can already talk about the Martin Budai decision that I got a couple weeks ago. Sketchy, but I ended up on the right side there, right? Like the right side by catching my ticket essentially. This past weekend, I wasn't on the right side. You know, what I mean, D-Rod did enough to make two of the three judges believe that he won that fight. That's what happens. That's the MMA game. So what I'm happy about is being able to call a plus 140-ish underdog and having the fight be as close as it is. If I can continue to call spots like that, like I have been during this, 6-month run that I've been on, um, yeah. I also want to say, in regards to the thing that I talked about at the top of the show, if I was running away with money or anything like that and making my own bets based off on I'm killing it based off the bets that I'm making. So it's not like I'm losing people's money to try to make up for it or anything like that. That is not the case whatsoever. Robot Chicken Wings saying maybe should go to the LFA if she couldn't beat this version of Aldana. There's a chance that she might get cut. You know what I mean, she did beat Norma Dumont last time around, but she's making it more and more difficult for her to be trustworthy with the weight misses that she consistently has, and then the ability, like the fact that she keeps saying, "Okay, I want to do a 140-pound catch weight." No, it's 135 and 145. Nicholas Lee asking, "What's up, y'all? How are we feeling about Monday Night Football and tomorrow's Contender Series?" Like I said, no Contender Series for me on that side. Just gonna scroll through a couple of these questions here just to kind of catch up. Tristan does saying asking why PayPal restricts people. True Shot says government. It also has to Mr. Always Profit saying because they want to make you pay taxes. I think that's ultimately what it is at the end of the day. But with the volume of transactions that I've had in my account over the last 3 years, I'm sure there's some sort of red flag that eventually went up to them thinking that, hey, this guy might be doing something fishy around here. And I've been able to talk my way out of it with PayPal over the last couple months, but I am really pushing my luck, I believe. Uh, Bad News Bandit saying, "Hey, love your content. What's your record from Saturday? Did you win?" I came out with a zero point 0.2 unit of profit. So not a big winning event, not a losing event, just a very small bit of profit that I was able to make. I think I went 2 and 3 on bets, but the two bets that I had were big enough to cover any of the losses that I had. So it's weird calling it a W, even though I won 0.2 units there, but it is a win at the end of the day. Lost on Dreams saying latest shite, but we here appreciate it as always as well. Jed Curry saying the video Kiesa posted on Twitter got me. I didn't watch it yet. Interested to watch it though. Wait, what? Don't Tap Podcast saying active shooter was in Peel, now in Hamilton. What? There's an active shooter? It's news to me. This is ridiculous. Wow. Be on the lookout for a stolen vehicle. You can tell it's stolen because it looks stolen and has stolen written on the side of it. No. Wow. Call 911 immediately. The shooting occurred this afternoon. You want them for? There's a guy going around just shooting folks in my area. What the fuck? This is insane. I'm sure my phone is about to go off with some sort of alert as well. What the fuck? This is insane. What is going on with this world? Holy shit. Sands Boulevard saying I'm working and enjoying Lock Talk. You know the drill. Appreciate the love, my friend. Aaron saying Barnett hit for me at plus 750 by KO. It's unfortunate the Queen won't be able to see this unprecedented title run. I know my guy Aaron was on that Barnett train all week. Shout out to him for cashing that. Good luck, my friend. Or good shit, my friend. Drew's better asking for my early thoughts on Basharat and Gravely. Haven't taped it yet, but I got to go back and look at Basharat's takedown defense personally. I don't recall how good it is, but if he can keep this fight standing, he's likely the better striker. Asher Quinn saying the amount that Dana was able to keep his head compared to the past is very interesting to me. He was nowhere near as much of a tomato as we expected. Exactly. Very weird. Sanson saying Hamzat coach said his body is having trouble make weight ever since COVID. Said he was getting muscle spasms, shaking, and vomiting. Some coach told him to stop. Well, I guess he's going to 185 pounds. Boob saying, is it true Chimaev got paid $2 million for his 279 fight? That seems insanely high. I wouldn't count it out. I'd say closer to $1 million probably than 2 million, but 2 million sounds crazy. Jerry Gray saying, I read that Hamza didn't lose any of his purse because he ended up making weight for the catch weight of 180. Could be bullshit, man. That would be something. Yes, that would mean they would need to draw up a different contract, right? So I'm assuming they um they they drew up a new contract for him. Would it be 2 million though? I don't know if it would be 2 million. Pajo saying our Daniel Wolf's boxing accolades as fraudulent as Bam Malaki's Muay Thai. She looked like she regressed even from contender series, and her striking accuracy is abysmal. I wouldn't say they're fraudulent. Like they're there. Like you can go to BoxRec and see what her record is, but I think that her boxing was being overhyped even going into the contender series. I don't know the hard on that Dana had with her, going into the contender series and even giving her a shot at the age that she was, but like she has a legitimate boxing background. But like how good is she? Maybe not the greatest, right? Maybe what a 30 and 14 in boxing would actually indicate. But yeah, Norma Dumont was touching her up. Did not expect that personally. Paizo saying, sorry, Corey Yupo saying Gravely going to be too strong for Bashrat. Maybe. Paizo saying thoughts on Juicy J's performance. Was very impressed watching it live. Seemed like his best performance to date. Yeah, very impressive for sure. So I was surprised that Hakeem had as much issues as he did there, and especially getting rocked as much as he did. And it seemed like Juicy J just gave him no respect, which is why he was able to go in there and just do what the fuck he did. Throw big shots, stay mobile, and stay on the outside. And even though his hands were down for the majority of the time, Hakeem just didn't have the confidence to go out there and try to capitalize on that. So shout out to Juicy J, shout out to Julian Rosa. Big win for him there. Tamiguchi saying you didn't lose no money. I did not. It was a um, very small profit there. Prison Mike saying, but he did lose 1-1 against Prison Mike. Maybe I did. Love you, Prison Mike. Jared Gray saying, stay safe, man. Do what you need to. Yes. Robert Chalice saying, be safe. Milan Hermes, I'm from Saga, Wagwan. Apparently there's something going on, my friend. Luckily, I'm not going out. I gotta hit up my wife to make sure she doesn't go out and do anything stupid. Or, well, I know she won't do anything stupid, but I just mean don't go out if she doesn't need to. She finishes work in about 20 minutes, so hopefully she can come straight home. Justin saying, do you live in Canada or Cali? I live in Canada, my friend. Things like this do not happen. Be safe, Lock. I got you, my friend. Appreciate it. Tristan saying, I don't like government sending me those texts. I don't like the government accessing my phone. For shit like this, okay, I don't mind it. Like missing Amber Alerts and stuff, I don't mind that stuff. But anything past that would be crazy. Drew Sparrow saying, well, can we just have a normal Monday? We cannot. True Shot saying your leader needed a string so he could ban guns. We pretty much already have them under control, in my opinion. Sanson saying thoughts on your boy MAB at plus 130 against Fluffy. I lean Fluffy there, man. I know that there's going to be some love for Barrio, but I think that Fluffy is the better technical fighter here. As we saw, when he's at his best, he looks like his last fight when he went up against who the fuck did he put through the ringer? It was a short notice guy, but he just fucked him up. Yeah, I think Fluffy's going to be too much for MAB. Prison Mike saying, I love the cover man accessing my phone. Who gives a fuck? The porno watch is banging. There you go. Juice Better saying MAB is a dog. Tamiguchi saying, did they just have a shootout in Canada? Usually don't hear that north of the border. There was something, well, the two biggest thing that I can remember in terms of like violence related stuff or mass killings of people, there was a guy in Saskatchewan, him and his brother were going around just stabbing folks and just killing them for whatever fucking reason. I think they killed a total of like 10 or 11 people on like some Indian native reserves in Saskatchewan. They eventually caught him, but he died from medical stress or some shit like that. I'm sure they probably killed him, but that was one thing that happened last week. And then a year or two ago, just around COVID time, there was a guy in Newfoundland, like somewhere in the Maritimes, that was just going around and shooting people. You know, he was a dentist and he had this fascination with the Ontario, or sorry, the RCMP, which is like the federal police agency up here in Canada, and he would, you know, get decals and deck out a car looking like an RCMP car, get a uniform, all that type of stuff, and he would just go around disguised as a cop and just shooting people. You know, he even killed a couple cops as well because cops thought, you know, initially right off the bat they thought he was one of them, and then he just turned a gun on them and started killing them. So that those are the two things I've ever heard of. In regards to this, I hopefully, you know, I think there's been two people shot so far in the area close to me. I'm hoping that it's no more than that. Asher saying Hamzat wasn't fine for weight miss. That is true. Robert saying he wasn't fine because it was planned. Well, they made up a totally different. They made up a totally different contract for that. True shot saying hard on. That's what Dana had, of course. Jared Curry saying I want one more wolf fight just to get another fade in. I don't know who they'll make her fight. Asher saying, do you find it interesting that some people still aren't fully on the Hamza train? I vowed to never bet him again, but the way some people talk about him, I might have to play his money line. Uh, for I need him to go out there and beat. You know, the Gilbert Burns one was enough for me personally, but I always say this: Colby and Usman are like completely different from the rest of that division. If he beats one of those guys, he will completely have my blessing and my acceptance, my stamp of approval. Milan Hermes saying you called Julian Rosa though. I did not call him. Um, I did say that, you know, it's hard to trust Uwadu as a minus 200 favorite considering how close his fights are. So I didn't bet on him, nor did I bet on Julian Rosa. So I wouldn't say I called him per se. True shot saying Macy versus Wolf at 170. I like it. Justin saying she looked good. Wolf like a Lamborghini with such shitty engine. He got excited when he brought Wolf. Wolf dinner took her out one time and she broke. Yeah. Don't tap podcasting. They're here now. Oh, they're here in Hamilton. Fuck. Uh, that's fucked up. I hope everybody stays safe. Matter of saying Kobe Covington's lock of the week was Altana. Kobe knows something. No, I'm playing. Jerry Curry saying it's early in the week, but all I'll say is if the Beverly Hills Ninja is taking you down, Fluffy is definitely going to take note of that. Fluffy gonna fluffy. Corey was saying he was all on Hakeem. I said Hakeem should win. I did not bet Hakeem though. I knew better than to lay minus 200 on Hakeem Dawadu, considering how close his fights could be. True Shot saying I bet Fluffy. I don't mind that. Jared Curry saying Josh Fremd. Yes, Josh Fremd was the one guy that he beat. Thank you. Justin Crookshank saying it was in Newfoundland, it was Nova Scotia. Apologies. I always get the Maritimes mixed up somewhere over there. Matter saying, let's keep it positive. If I want to hear about this stuff, I'd watch local news. No offense. You are right. You are correct about that. All I'll say about it, hope everybody stays safe. If you are in the Hamilton or Mississauga region or anything like that, just stay inside. Don't go out and about. Asher saying, and you saying that is exactly why I will continue to bet Hamzat despite vowing to better never bet on him again. All right, perfect. It looks like the situation has come to an end. Thank you. Ashwin saying, where do you cap Colby Usman versus Hamzat's? Hamzat's solid favorite. I'd make them closer to a pick 'em personally. I'd make those fights pick 'em and let the public take where they want to go. If you give me solid plus money on Usman or Colby, I would likely take the solid plus money there. If it's a close line like minus 120, minus 130, then I'd have to look into a little bit deeper. But beat one of those two guys and Hamza will have my stamp of approval. Asher saying he played Hamza at minus 200, no hesitation. Man, things will get iffy if that fight gets prolonged. That's all I gotta say. Walla Walla dose in the chat. Appreciate that, my friend. Justin Villegas saying, sorry, lock of the night. One day I will own a dictionary and learn to type better. I spent all my good years in typing class making fun of people. Now I can't type. I'll always show you love, my friend. Always, always, always. Josh saying, Lock, how was the one strike Hamza throw not a significant strike if it was on the ground? I don't know. Like, it's so weird what they count as significant strikes and what they don't. Crazy. Prism Mike saying, you didn't bet Hakeem at minus 200, but you took 38-year-old Tony Ferguson on 4-fight losing streak coming off Everson KO within 4 months ago. True, but he was against Nate Diaz that didn't have knockout power, and it was at minus 115 rather than minus 200. I really thought that the style of Ferguson would be too much for Nate Diaz, but it wasn't. We're talking about Nate Diaz here, not, not fucking the four guys that Tony Ferguson was fighting over his 4-fight losing streak. Nate Diaz is a tremendous step down, in my opinion, from those guys. And he didn't have the knockout capability, in my opinion. I will say this, though. I was surprised that Nate Diaz didn't even have a cut on him in that fight. The whole thing since that fight got made was like, it's going to be hilarious when Tony just blows on him and he'll start cutting, he'll start bleeding all over the place. So it was Tony Ferguson that ended up bleeding all over the place. So, yeah, not a good read on my part, but it was a minus 115 shot that I took for 1.15 units. I'm okay with losing a bet like that. I would not be okay losing a 2 to 4 unit bet on Hakeem Dawodu, knowing how close his fights normally go. There's someone, Becky, asking Sandhagen or Yudong. I lean Sandhagen, but I still need to tape it myself. Ashquin saying, yep, I'll be betting Hamza in the future in this case. We'll see. Prism Mike calling me a snake. What? No. My, you're my boy. I hope I didn't lose you, my friend. I did 2. I had the Dr. Stoppage prop plus 500. No blood on Nate's face. Yeah. Crazy. Elijah Dream saying Nate with a sub at pretty much 209 was wild. Yes, that was crazy. Paizo saying McMahon, a trap versus Aspen Ladd. Thinks she should be the favorite. I rate a win versus Rosa pretty highly. It's so hard to cap Aspen Ladd fights, though. Honestly, like, we don't know what we're getting with her. Sometimes she goes in and she smashes chicks. Sometimes she just stays on the outside and is okay. I'm not touching that fight, period. I'm being honest. Yeah, I'm not touching either side there. After I tape it, maybe I'll try to find something, but Aspen Ladd being the big wild card there, I'm okay. Jerry Curry saying you did not bet situation A, yet you bet a completely different situation B. Fascinating. Correct. That's what this space is all about, my friend. Okay. Looks like we got a little bit of a spam on the Twitch stream there. Mr. Always Prophet saying, not like it mattered, but Pussy Shade Holland went for glove touch. Hamza was the one who went to Holland to touch gloves before the fight and show respect. Yes. Very weird that Holland was okay with touching gloves there. True Shot saying Nate was bleeding from the mouth. Well, the fact that he wasn't bleeding on his face was weird to me. Sansan saying I live bet Tony live in round 3 at plus 300. Felt like an idiot shortly thereafter. Yeah. Man, he was really doing work with that leg kick. That's for sure. Wish he stuck with it. Don't tap saying they're both a fade. I always bet away 3U of profit on Tony live while baked. Oh, also bet 3 unit live on Tony. True Shot saying plus money on McMahon will give me on her. by decision. Decision, not a bad way to attack it. You're also saying kind of lean Yadong, to be honest, more excited for this one than last week's main event. Made me sick. Yes, I agree. But I do lean with Sandhagen. My thing here is we've seen Song's activity really start to slow down later in fights. Now he has to go 5 rounds with a guy that sets the pace of Corey Sandhagen. That's kind of my issue here. I get the plus money shot on Song Yadong, but should this fight go, long, I think Sandhagen will have more opportunities to win this fight. Corey saying if you can watch the Louis Lopez Dylan Schultz BKFC fight, is the best fight I've seen in a long time. I have not watched BKFC in a while. I was just saying I love Nate Diaz, but that was just a sloppy ass fight. It was. Jared saying I have Sandhagen and a star elevating performance for both of them. Think he's a little too much for Yudong right now. Both come out looking better than they want. Yeah. I do think the footwork, the output, the cardio of Sandhagen will be too much here. Song, questionable cardio in my opinion. True Shot saying Song's wins are all that good. He's shown good things. Can you find the chin of Corey? Because I think that's the only way he wins this fight. West Coast thinks he finds the chin. It's possible. Robert Chella saying the under 1.5 in Amadovsky. Piper is minus 153. Ooh, I'd have to do some more research into that one. Justin saying Nate pissed me off, goofing off, leaning on the KZQ world beater. Yeah, that was weird, man. I wish Tony actually went after him in those spots. Like, I really think that Nate was taking a couple of those moments to just catch his breath and trying to get that pain from his leg to go away, because that leg was torn up. Don't top podcasting. Tony's coaches kept saying with the Wadi, he laid off the leg at the end, in my opinion, unless he himself was hurting. I don't get it. Yes, he should have kept on that leg kick. Robert Cho saying I just put everything on that. Ooh. Good luck, my friend. Black Time 3 saying I made a live bet on Tony after that leg kick. Then he goes for the takedown. Like if Nate wasn't training for that all gap. Yes. Robert saying not literally put everything on that. But yeah, Black Time 3. I wish he just kept with the leg kicks, man. He sure just stuck with it. Mr. Always Profit saying I was super confident on Duwadu, but then the missed weight made Aldana my lock of the night instead. Still bet Duwadu though was winning round 1. Then he got rocked. He looked off while weigh-ins. I should have stayed off. I don't blame you, my friend. I don't let weigh-ins sway me too much unless it's like egregious. I know he missed by 3.5 pounds or something like that, but like he looked fine on the scales to me. Asher Quinn saying Sandhagen decision only. I think he could finish him late, man. But again, if it's decision only, then yes, if it goes the full 5 rounds, I think he would have made a better case for a decision win than Song would. True Shot got Sandhagen minus 165. That's a damn good line. Lajon Dream saying he did that in the Leon fight too. Yes, he did. I'd say Sandhagen 4-5 decision if that lines up. That wouldn't be a bad way to go about it. Duwadu looked scared getting into that ring. I don't know. He just always has that mean mugging face. Also saying Tony turning his back had me going mad. He looked scared for some reason. Maybe I'm looking into it too hard. I saw that as well. I did see that as well. That was weird. Like it seemed like he almost was uncomfortable getting into those pocket exchanges. Very weird. Tristan saying, do you have an early lean in Maximov versus Malkoon? Man, I don't. I'd love to see what the odds are there. Because both guys do the same thing. But if you give me a big plus money on one side, I'd probably take that side. Tyler Rose saying, did anyone else have Tony winning the first 2 rounds? All the talking heads said Nate had won all the rounds. I believe they released it. Let me see here. Diaz and scorecards. So 2 of the judges had all 3 rounds for Nate Diaz. Junichiro Kamijo was the other judge that had rounds 2 and 3 for Tony Ferguson, but not round 1. Mr. Always Prefacing, yeah, don't let weigh-in sway me, but this one looked bad to me. These lower guys aren't gonna want to give up 30% of the purse, so I knew it had to be bad that he didn't even try to cut more. Yes. Good point. Good way of looking at it. Actually saying wouldn't surprise me if Tony was up on the scorecards. Well, there you guys go. Someone's going to sleep. The audience. Tyler saying I also got Sandhagen for 1 year minus 175. Super confident in that. Pre-tape, just giving the odds and all that stuff. Sandhagen seems to be my strongest lead, but I want to get the tape done first. Corey saying Duado lost all 3 rounds, but all 3 judges, he didn't take round 1. Aaron asking why any reason the UFC kicked Johnny Walker out after his fight. Kind of a funny pick of him on the strip. Yeah, that was hilarious. I'm not sure. Dana tried to sidestep the question by saying, these guys normally get checked out and they should be good to go after it, but that was weird. Urso saying, what about Li Jingliang? That loss has me hurting unless he got paid in the locker room. I wouldn't rule it out. I think that the UFC probably took care of him a little bit more, considering all the changes in kerfuffle that he had to go through with this week as well, and then to get hosed on the decision. I feel like Dana would look to add a little extra to his purse to try to make it right. Justin saying, where does Tony go now? Tony versus Clay. Do we bring back BJ Penn for him or CM Punk? I don't know, man. We got to give him somebody that's not dangerous. Why not Tony versus Clay at this point? Like, fuck it. Just get this guy a win at this point. And he might not even be able to get a win. So, I don't know. Guido Ferguson doesn't sound bad. Jared Craig saying after the robbery, they bumped that 50% off Venom coupon to 55. Maybe that's what they did. Oh, I am absolutely done. Like, I do not feel myself at all right now. And I apologize for not bringing the energy for you guys. True saying, forget this fight for Tony. Up in weight, fighting slow because of 5 rounds with coaches, first time in ages. Dude was a mess. I agree. I still don't know if he'll go back to 155 either. At this stage in his career, he's not making any title runs. Just go out there and have some money fights. Mr. Always Prophet saying, I'm sure Dana paid Leach's win bonus or extra. He said he was going to pay Beast Boy even though he missed weight, and he said the Leach fight was a robbery, so I'm sure Leach should get taken care of. I hope so. I sure hope so. Sanson saying, take a day off, Flock. You deserve it. We appreciate all the content and everything you consistently produce for us fans. I appreciate the love, my friend. Honestly, it means a lot. We have next weekend off from the UFC, so I just got to get through this one more week, and I should be able to kick my feet up for a little bit. I was also saying Lee losing ranking spots and shit has to make his way to the rankings, and time is ticking. I didn't bet him, but I was furious for some reason, like one of those robberies. Well, would have been nice to have cashed that ticket myself. Shushan saying, can Dana tell my bookie? That would have been great. Justin saying, Tony, only guy who dressed like a professional sport player in NBA with long sleeves, leg sleeves, like he gonna sit on the bench for a minute before he goes in. I love him. I love me some Ferguson. Ooh, Ashley Quinn saying Hamdi is out against Parker Porter. Ugh, that sucks. I was looking forward to seeing what money or plus money we could get on Porter in that spot. Fuck. Mr. Always Prophet saying, go to tape Dana White contender series after the stream. I will be looking to get the energy to do the same afterwards as well. Justin saying there's Connor easy fight to get his toes wet again. Ferguson. Yeah, I don't know if that fight's going to come to fruition. Ashwin saying they have a new opponent, Slim Trabelsi. Never heard of this guy, but that is not optimal. Oh, it seems this guy is the Aries heavyweight champion coming in on short notice here. Big change for Parker. So that's saying, damn, the card sucks now. You're hilarious. Jerry Curry saying, I hope it's a use out of suspension so I can cope with losing money on Dontel Mays. That would be hilarious if that's what it is. Michelle always Prophet saying, did you see Brady and Bilal aren't on the main card for 280? That card is pretty stacked. So, I can see why they're not, but I hope they'd at least be, the prelim headliner. Asher Quinn saying, there are no good fights on 280 anymore. That's hilarious. Always Prophet saying, my girl Furo has opened up the pay-per-view. That's probably what they wanted to do. Get her some love. Asher Quinn saying, let's book Barnett. They already have one. Trishat saying, in Abu Dhabi, Trabelsi is a former amateur wrestler training out of MMA Factory. He has trained with Ngannou and Gane. Want to keep an eye on. Interesting. Asher Quinn saying, remember the zero name value. Exactly. West Coast saying, nobody cares about Bilal or Brady. It is the harsh reality, and it is true. All right, I'm gonna have to cut this stream a little bit short. My energy levels are just way too low to keep doing this thing. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support, appreciate everybody who's always joining in on these podcasts. I got to go get some work done, get on the Contender Series tape as well, and then try to bring back the energy for you guys either later tonight with the Contender Series breakdown or early tomorrow as well. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let's get this dough on Contender Series tomorrow. Peace out.